Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Borderlands the Pre-Sequel, a third-person RPG shooter from 2K Australia and Gearbox. So sorry for the delay in this review. Unfortunately, I had some rough time with the video portion of recording this because of, I don't know, it's just something went weird. So anyway, this is the third game in the Borderlands series. It takes place in between Borderlands 1 and 2, hence the name Borderlands the Pre-Sequel. And takes place on the moon and kind of fleshes out the story of how Handsome Jack became Handsome Jack. So the good news is it's Borderlands. It's another Borderlands game. It's really good in that respect. The downside is it's pretty much the exact same thing as Borderlands 2 and not really anything new added. So as I mentioned, the story of Borderlands the Pre-Sequel takes place in between the first and second games. You play as one of 4 new characters, but the story is told from the story of Athena, one of the people that worked for Handsome Jack, as well as General Knox in the first game, and is being interrogated by Lilith and the original the survivors from Borderlands 2 into, how Handsome Jack really became Handsome Jack. The story on the whole is, once again, it's Borderlandsy, it's funny, it's kind of shallow, kind of choppy as well, it's kind of weirdly paced, but the characters and all that have the same humor, and it's funny on the whole. New characters are Nisha, Wilhelm, for the most part. They're the 2 new characters, as well as you get to actually play as Claptrap, which I'll talk about in the gameplay mechanic part. But the story, like I said, it's pretty decent. It's Borderlands, but it's still, kind of weak. And like I said, I think my biggest problem was just the pacing was really off. But the humor and the, overall story aspects are pretty much untouched from the original Borderlands.
Failure to do this will result in you being branded a huge a-hole!
Gameplay-wise, it's like I said, it's pretty much exactly the same as Borderlands 2. It's a shoot game. You shoot things, things drop loot, you pick up guns, change out guns, class mods, grenades. You just go out and keep doing that until your Vault Hunter is awesome. There's 4 different classes. You have Nisha the Lawbringer, Wilhelm the Enforcer, and Athena the Gladiator, and my favorite, Claptrap the Frack Trap. In this video you're seeing Athena and Claptrap played. My wife played Athena while I played Claptrap. They're pretty much the same basic things. Wilhelm is pretty much the soldier, Nisha is the assassin, Athena is the gunzerker, and Claptrap is probably the most unique class I've ever played in Borderlands, because he's kind of a little bit of everything. He's weird. But that's pretty much how they work. Where the game does take place on the moon, the other kind of 2 new mechanics they've added are there's a lower gravity threshold, so you jump higher and you can glide via oxygen, which if you're playing any character but Claptrap is a actual mechanic. If you play Claptrap, you can completely ignore this. There's oxygen. There's no real air on the moon, so you have to have oxygen helm that you can breathe in, and you can only survive without oxygen for so long. That's the 3rd bar at the bottom, is the oxygen. You can also use this to increase your glide when you jump, do like kind of a faster glide jump to get further across the map. It expels oxygen. Once again, it's Claptrap, you can completely ignore oxygen. But if you run out of oxygen, you will start depleting damage, and this goes for the NPCs as well. If you shoot off their helms, they will start taking oxygen damage and slowly die. You replenish oxygen by picking up items that replenish oxygen, which are all over the place, as well as going into special force field areas that have oxygen in them. It's an interesting mechanic. It does require you to kind of plan where you want to be, because there are upsides and downsides to being in air-filled areas. The biggest one is if you're in an air-filled area, you can catch on fire. If you're in not an air area, you cannot catch on fire, but you can freeze easier. Freezing is a new type of mechanic to where it freezes you and you can, break if it's on an enemy versus you just taking more damage like usual. Otherwise, their same elements are in there: corrosive, arc, fire, void, all those fun things. I forget the actual names of some of them. that play, do different things. Each Vault Hunter has a unique ability. Wilhelmsen's a little mechanical helper. I forget what Nisha does. Athena has a shield that absorbs damage, and then you can throw that shield to dish out that damage to whatever enemy hits. And Claptrap is completely randomized in whatever the crap he does. In my opinion, Claptrap is is probably the best class to play in this because he's so different. His super is based off of a random algorithm that will choose what happens. It could be something really cool, like he becomes the Gunzerker, except you can't control how the guns shoot. They just shoot. So you just point at things and it shoots at it. Or you can summon a little mini him that has giant rocket launchers or fly around and does fire and corrosive damage. Or he summons a completely useless rubber duck that just makes you bounce. It is completely random. I loved it. He also has one of the weirdest skill trees on. The skill tree I was using randomized what weapon 2 was good at for 60 seconds, and all the other things and everything else described. It was weird. I loved Claptrap though. He's really funny, and he's really a blast to play. Anyway, back onto other gameplay mechanics. There's really none other than shoot gun boss. Nothing really changed other than adding oxygen and zero gravity, which is my only real criticism of the game. Is it. Unlike Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, where there was a noticeable jump between those two games in terms of mechanics and how things went, this really feels like just kind of a small expansion pack. Like maybe a 2-3 DLC pack, like a separate DLC pack that you could have just put on the 2, in my opinion, because there's nothing really new added. So that's my big criticism of Borderlands the Pre-Sequel is it's nothing new to Borderlands, which is kind of a shame.
Put that flim-flam piece of laser trash next to the beacon and stand far away, cause things are gonna frickin' mother explode!
Borderlands the Pre-Sequel is a fun game as long as you're into the Borderlands series. If you haven't been in the Borderlands, especially Borderlands 2, you're probably not gonna like this game very much. However, I do enjoy Borderlands. This one, I think, made me a little bit more frustrated than the previous ones. However, it's still fun. I still love the humor. Claptrap is by far the greatest class in Borderlands history, in my opinion. I'm giving Borderlands the Pre-Sequel a buy rating. I wish they come out with a PS4 version, an Xbox One version, because I rented this and I don't plan on buying it anytime soon, personally, because I'm trying to retire my PlayStation 3 and focus on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One right now, and the Wii U. However, if it ever comes out on PS4 and Xbox One, I'm buying it like immediately. It is fun. It's enjoyable. It's just, like I said, it's more the same thing, so don't expect any like groundbreaking new mechanics. That's it for this review. Next up is Bayonetta, which should be coming out soon, hopefully by the end of Monday. I have plenty of time on Monday. Unfortunately, this week was eaten up by me trying to figure out what the heck was going on with my video capture card, as well as me playing Final Fantasy, getting ready for the 2.4 expansion or patch coming out on Tuesday. Monday, I have 24-hour maintenance, so I have no excuse to get Bayonetta out by then, because I've been playing it for a while, because I got an earlier copy. So that's it for this review. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Check out the website Rule of 3 for all my news, updates, and podcasts that we post, as well as some new videos, a series that might be coming out soon. We're still working with some people to get that going. Like us on Facebook and Twitter. Tell your friends to watch us. That's it for this review. Thanks for watching. Always remember to trust in the Rule of 3.